Verizon Android phones will support RCS
Oh,
20
yeah.
messaging by 2022. Um, this has been going on for a while.
The supposed iMessage killer. Go ahead.
Yeah, the supposed iMessage killer. You know what I mean? Like, so iMessage is like iPhone's proprietary way to deal with messaging that also integrates with SMS and MMS. But it's really only iPhones that really gets like the full benefit of like the future features of like messaging each other, which is, we already kind of get this stuff now with like, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. Those apps compete with iMessenger, and like Facebook competes with Apple solely because of messaging. That's their main thing. Like they don't really have nothing else to compete with but that private messaging service. But like RCS is supposed to be like the general public's alternative. It's supposed to be the one that is for everybody to use, similar to what SMS and MMS has been. Like no matter whether you have the old, dial phone, cell phones where you could take old text messages with the T9 T9 keyboard. Yeah, I mean, or you have
keep hitting the button, the ABC.
Yeah, A, B, C, E, D, E, F. Yeah, I mean, like whether you got that technology or anything else, the RCS is supposed to be like that level where it's the standard for the open communication market. And RCS means Rich Communication Services, and it's basically supposed to give you the iMessage functionality for just everybody else that needs a text messaging service. I mean, so like you're able to have like group chats. You're able to have like, audio text being sent, video, like one of the worst things is trying to send a picture back and forth to somebody on an Android phone when they got iMessages. Like, because you're going to get the downgraded version and it's going to look like your picture, your camera is from like 2001. I mean, like
you got a flip phone camera on that.
Yeah, like you just took this thing with like a 12 megapixels set camera. I got this double thing in my ear. I got like feedback, and it's hard for me to hear myself. It's kind of funny, but like, you might have this like 22 megapixel camera. You took this picture, but you try to text it to somebody, and then it looked like 360p or some shit. It looked like an old CRT. Black and white or something like like it don't make sense how that happens, and it really happens because all the downgrading that has to happen to work on MMS. And iMessages says, well, if you ain't got iMessages, then we don't care. I mean, like if you ain't got iMessages, then it don't matter. Where RCS is supposed to be the new standard, even though this article says that it's starting off with like T-Mobile and AT&T. And Verizon in particular, the article was talking about how Verizon is jumping in, but T-Mobile and AT&T already are in plans to support this. So by 2022, 2023, all our messaging problems should be resolved. But I've been hearing about goddamn RCS since 2013, and ain't shit changed since.
I was just about to ask you, dude, like out of all this, do you feel like personally my humble but honest opinion is I feel like ain't nothing really gonna change, man. That's just me. But like, how do you feel about
it's because it's the open market, man. Because open networks. I mean, like everybody that got a network got to comply. I mean, whereas with this Apple, they got their one network, and as long as you got an Apple phone, you on their network, and they make the decision. When you got these open networks with these open technologies and everybody trying to, like AT&T and Verizon's technologies aren't the same, but they got to make their stuff work together. When you're dealing with these open standards and you got to try to match them up, everybody got to play their part. And that's what usually take the longest is that, T-Mobile don't want to do it or Verizon don't want to do it. First, they want to come out with their own version. Like, can we come out with it and it'd be ours? Like, we came up with the way to figure it out and how to do it better, but they don't know how to fix it. Like Google is a company that solely focuses on making these types of improvements, but the thing that they scared of, that Verizon and AT&T and all these companies are scared of initially, was that, if Google got the network and they created the protocol, then Google won't get all the data.
I mean, they already have all the. I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
They already got all the data.
All the phones are already Android. I mean, they got all the phones that's on the networks. So, like, they got all the data. But in this case, in this scenario, because RCS is open technology, T-Mobile can build their servers, their text messages servers to work with RCS to manage RCS. AT&T can build their networks to manage RCS. Verizon can build theirs to manage RCS, and it gives them their power back, which is the main thing. Similar to what we're talking about with this Web3, Google's just creating a protocol and giving it away to everybody else to set up. And it's like the same thing with this RCS.
That's crazy, because if you think about, like, do you think there's a way that, like, they're trying to connect, like, the RCS with, like, the what they're doing with the blockchain, like with NFT? But I was that's actually interesting.
I mean, in a lot of ways, because I mean, they're talking about the encryption here, like with RCS. I don't know as much, because it seems like they still got to have like some back end server somewhere that is managing like storage of messages. Because that's one thing with telephone service for text messaging. If your phone go out or come back, you still got to be able to get that text message, which means they got to be sitting somewhere, saved somewhere. Whereas like the blockchain protocol.
Trying to listen. Oh, it's shut down. Got to get all of them.
I mean, it gotta be sitting somewhere. Like the blockchain stuff a little bit different, just because it's supposed to be just communication between A and B. The only thing that the blockchain know of is that communication happened. They don't know what happened, and they don't know what transacted. They don't know nothing about the files that got sent between A and B. They just know that they communicated at some point. And that's about as limited as the blockchain is supposed to be, is that they connected. These people connected. What happened is between them. I mean, that's why it should be different for RCS. It'll make it more secure, because like you said, text messaging isn't secure. It's mostly in plain text. I mean, it's a text file for the most part. Whereas now it should be encrypted. I think they do talk about being able to do stuff over like your Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So that if you don't have a telephone connection, you can still do the text messaging through RCS and stuff like that.
I mean, that's what I already said, that, it's going to take some, like how and this may actually go into why they are scared to get in bed with Google, like the telephone companies, is because we already are in a space where we're having communication with each other, without the need of a telephone service, you know what I mean? Like a service provider, you know what I mean? So it may get to the point where, Google start jumping in everybody's bag, and then they make a move where it's like, you know what, we're going to make this deregulated, where if you got a Google number, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get access to this, and then boom, like then Verizon is done. AT&T, Sprint, because that's all
they still partnered with them. They still got Google Fi.
Yeah, and the thing is, with these, what we don't actually think about is that with these telephone companies, like they actually still are archaic. You know what I mean? Like we talking back and forth, like you and I. The same type of convo like we having between you and I, we can do on our phones. We can cut out the video. You know what I mean? Exactly. We have a Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So boom, it makes sense why like a Xfinity will get into like Wi-Fi and like the internet and stuff, because they know that if you connect it to the internet, that's like what the next move is. I mean, it could be why a lot of these telephone companies are these service providers are slow on their feet, because they know it's just, and we're going to meet that inevitable end of their business model being obsolete and being done for.
Yeah.
So how do you make that transition?
And it's been a long time coming. They've been trying to block it for a while. I mean, ever since the internet basically started, like they were like, "Oh, you can watch movies. Oh no, you can't be watching stuff over over the, y'all making calls over the internet. Nah, y'all cannot be doing calls over the video chat. We don't even do that, but y'all can't be doing that.
Right.
Like they've been doing so much, like everything that used to be like a one service thing over the wire. Since the internet came out and allowed you to just do it directly through the internet, it's been killing all these old companies. Comcast ain't even Comcast anymore.
Exactly.
All these companies, like they keep buying up media companies because they like media is where the advertisements is. Like if I can't send you advertisements over your cable service, I got to put it on a website somewhere. And like that's why Verizon keep buying AOL and Yahoo, because they need that.
And you think about how with the whole RCS game, like if they really open it up, they can start, because of how it works with the type of, I guess, multimedia, like how it would be, they could possibly start advertising straight through text message in an elaborate way.
Something like RCS could kill the potential needs of things like WhatsApp and Messenger and iMessages, because it's just standard now. It's just part of what we get. I mean, when we get a cell phone, it's just, we got fully functional video capability in our chat services and our phone services. I mean, and it would kill what is a whole big business right now.